whole rock project began about 34 years ago. I was teaching metal sculpture courses at the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, and I met this young student, Dean Kleiner. He called me up once and he said, "Look, John, I've been wandering around the barrens over by Peggy's Cove, and it's kind of discouraging actually because I want to be a stone carver, but nature's already done it all over there." So I built three 6-inch cubes. I fabricated them out of 1/4-inch plate, welded them up, and I wonder if you'd be interested in helping me put them underneath a big rock I discovered over there in the barrens. I said, "Man, I think that's the greatest idea I've ever heard, ever. I'm in." So off we went. It was a very foggy day, and I remember wandering around for a fair while. The kids were getting a little antsy, and I remember Jesse saying, "Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?" And Dean turned, he said, "We're making art." And we spent quite a lot of time, got it up in the air, got it up on the cubes, and everybody rejoiced. We took some pictures and went home.
I remember when there was nothing there. There was some plywood shacks with a hinged plywood door that went up, and they sold ice cream cones out of there until they ran out of ice cream, and dried starfish and little souvenirs, and homemade fudge. They drove up to the entrance to Peggy's Cove, and there was a gate. There's a bunch of little kids who opened the gate and let you in, and then closed the gate behind you because the cattle would get out.
It was actually Bernie Reardon at a conversation we had many, many, many years ago. He was curator of the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, and I went to him for advice, and he looked at my portfolio, and this is like 30 years ago, and he said, I remember him turning the pages so slowly and looking at every picture so carefully, and he closed the book, and he said, "This work is magnificent. It's absolutely great decorative craft. But you do realize that there's no art in this book. Art is something that makes you see things differently. It makes you feel differently about things. It changes the way you react to the world." That's why I think that's what Dean Kleiner intended. He thought, if I can do something here that will draw people's attention to something that they're looking at but they're not seeing, then I'll have created a piece of art, and that's what this is all about. About 25 years later, the blacksmithing student of mine went over to have a look at this rock because I talked about it many times. And he came back with a handful of crumbled little rusty cast iron pieces, and he said, "John, I have such bad news for you." So next step is to buy some 316 stainless steel, which is a very high grade of stainless steel.
Yes. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
You're sure?
Yep.
When? Ooh.
So everybody be quiet now and listen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe take that stick off there, Nancy. Whoa.